because I had a conversation which centered around this moment in time.
I know. I think I know who you're talking about.
All right, tell the story then.
So I'm on the grass. I'm not really feeling too good. I go there. I go to Stuttgart. I qualified into Stuttgart, actually, and I lost to Gasquet. But I'm still like kind of just annoyed. I'm like, the reason I was annoyed, Gasquet does a great job when I was playing him of neutralizing my serve with just a continental grip on both sides, just chipping it at the service line. I'm serving big, forehand, backhand, doesn't matter, chipping it at the service line. He's bringing me up into the court. I can't get it up and down. It's taking bad bounces. I don't really have good footing. So I'm frustrated. It was a frustrating match. And so I reached out to Kim Clijsters because Kim and I played World Team Tennis together, I believe, a year before. And there were so many times after these matches, Kim would be getting treatment. We'd be just kind of sitting around in the conference room and eating dinner. And we would just ask questions. Like I would just ask her, pick her brain about tennis. Like, you know, the stories that she would tell, I was like, man, like her perspective on tennis, it's much like yours. It's so different than like what I experience. It's like Kim is like, obviously she was one of the best players ever. She's like, she's going to a tournament like, yeah, like I knew I, was good enough to, semi but like I wanted to win. I played the tournament because I'm trying to win.
Like, that's not my reality.
Like Kim like went into tournaments going like, no, I plan on like, I'm going to win it. And like, just hearing just the mindset and it wasn't in an arrogant way at all, but it was just like her level of confidence. Like me, I'm showing up to tournaments thinking, I get another Grand Slam win. Like, that's a pretty good week. Like Kim is like, no, I'm focused on really kind of building on my game. I had a rough, this clay court season. Third round, the fourth round. And I'm like, oh yeah, really rough time. But it's just cool to hear
the second week there.
Yeah. But it was just cool to sit and just listen to her talk tennis. And so I don't know why I did it. I just reached out and said, Kim, grass court tennis sucks. And she just responded. She was like, hey, Chris, what's going on? And she listened to me. She let me kind of complain about it. And she gave me some tips. She was like, it might be good to on the grass, do some mini tennis games, do some continental skills. Cause you kind of find yourself having to use those shots a lot more on grass than you do on other surfaces. So like play mini tennis with your coach for 10 minutes, do your normal dynamic warm up in the grass with your grass court shoes on. It helps, kind of capture the footing a little bit more, just doing regular stuff on it. She gave me these great tips. And then I go to Mallorca. And then I go to Halle. I think I quali in Halle, and I lost to Hurkacz first round. And then I go to Mallorca, play Alex Mickelson first round, squeak out one against him. Played Ben second round, squeaked out one against him. Played, was it Lloyd Harris either in the quarters or the semis? Squeaked one out 7-6 in the third against him. Saved like 4 or 5 match points. And now I'm like, yeah, it was in the quarters. And then I played Rennick in the semis and then Manarino in the final. And then I won it. And I'm like, oh, wow, maybe I do like grass. But a lot of it obviously was that cool conversation I had with Kim where she kind of just listened to me and she let me kind of just, vent. And then she offered her help. And it was so cool to just be able to have that, relationship with her where she hit me back and told me what she thought I should do. And I ended up having success. Obviously went on to Wimbledon, quartered there. That was a bit of a blur. It was like the craziest, like 9 matches in a row, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It was like boom, boom, boom. And then, obviously I come back. When I left the US after Miami, I went to Korea. Then I went to the clay. Then I went to the grass. I was gone for 12 weeks. When I left, I was 85 when I left. When I came back to the States, I was 30.
Wow.
Something like that.
That's when you get back to your house and the plates are all in the same spot, but it's not the same life.
So yeah, it was, or maybe I was like in the 30s or something like that. And then I quartered Atlanta and then I hardly won anything after that. Yeah. So yeah, that ended up getting me top 30.
Do you think some of that was like the mental, were like, I'm deleting the app. I'm just going to focus on, playing and enjoying ball to ball, match to match.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Like even, and like you said, once I deleted the app, I just felt like, okay, this is kind of something that was hanging over my head. I'm not going to care. I'm just going to go out here and I'm going to play and we're going to see what happens. Then obviously I ended at 85. I kind of played that whole next from 85 all the way up to whatever. When I came back, I was 30, kind of with that same mentality because for so long I had been striving to get into the top 100. Now I'm 85. Like to me, that's like a good cushion. Then I end at 75. And now it's like, hey man, let's just play. Like everything was just going in. I was high on confidence. I was high on matches. And so things just started rolling, but I didn't feel much pressure. I was just like, oh, this pressure's off.
I'll read you the text I sent to Kim, and the 2 voice notes that she left would probably make you emotional. I said I should actually just send them to you at some point, but I said, hey, do I remember Eubanks saying you gave him encouragement advice on his ability on grass before his run last year? And I said, I'm making that up. And she left like the nicest, she said the exact same things about team tennis, late nights, but she gave a lot of credit to you for your curiosity, right? Like, and most players aren't super curious. Like I do it my way, or like it's a point of pride. I've never not responded to a player who's asked me a question on text, and I get a way fewer than you would ever imagine, right? And so anyway, she left me, a couple of these things and just said the media made more of it. It was just a simple conversation, a couple of drills. But at the end she said, yeah, he's just a great person, and I'm happy that we have that relationship. And so it was literally what you said was exactly what she said. That's what she said. Anyways, that's probably just ruin that. But we can move on. Listen, we all love that. We love that run. We love kind of everything that you've been about, the way you've gone about it, just the little moments where it seems like you're a great steward for the game, even from letting Coco know that she's wearing the Olympics, she's going to be the ring bearer. You're great at those moments. And the input I want, like I know a lot of the stuff you're talking about just from being a tour person. I have no idea the answers to the questions I'm about to ask. And I want this to come off in the most flattering way possible, right? You work your entire life to do this thing, right? To do this tennis thing. And we've just heard your journey, the good parts, the bad parts, the stages, the leveling up, the leveling down, the mental gymnastics, the physical, all of this stuff, right? And then you come out of the shooter in broadcasting something you're not trained to do, and all of a sudden you will be like, I hope you do a million things. I hope you're top 10 in the world. Even if you're top 10 in the world, you're going to be a better broadcaster than you are tennis player because you're so good at broadcasting. Like you are elite of elite. You're like Strahan level in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinion. How do you balance that where you have this thing, this blood, sweat, and tears that has created this other opportunity? And how do you value both of them? Like, I don't know that I'll never be upset about a bad pod show the way that I was upset about a match. Like, it just doesn't work the same emotionally. Walk us through your current life in this trade-off between, I'm grinding, I want to get back to the top 30 because this is what I've done, this is what I've worked for, this is like what occupies my emotions in my brain space. And then also, I know what the 10 years, 20 years, 30 years after tennis will most likely look like, right? What is that trade-off? What are the positives and what are the challenges of your life as you're kind of, I don't want to say between, but you're fully committed to one and you dabble in this other space of which I think you're very good at it.
Yeah, well, I think for me, the one thing that I did not want, and we laughed at it at the top of the show when I responded about joining you guys and starting it and kind of what my thought process was, even when the agents got involved.
He said, "What's your budget?" I said, "We have no money."
But the thing that I always wanted to make sure was very clear is that I'm a tennis player first, and that's one thing that I've done. Like is my best to make sure that. Even obviously, I'm extremely grateful for these opportunities to do things with ESPN, to do things with Tennis Channel, to kind of enter, or dabble, like you say, in something different. That opportunity was afforded to me because of what I've been able to do on the tennis court. It's not solely dependent on, what I've done on the tennis court because, my results don't stack up to the level of like a Michael Strahan, Super Bowl champion. Like even my results before, they don't fully stack up, but I understand that it kind of in a way got me in the door to be able to dabble, but that door is still open because of my abilities and what I can do and what I have done on the tennis court. So I don't want them to ever get too conflicted in which it's like, the broadcast is now, the main priority. It's like, no, I have a very limited amount of time in which I can be a professional tennis player. It's a profession that I didn't, fully know and believe I could do from a young age. And then when I kind of got that taste, I kind of got that bug of saying, oh, this is what I'm going to do for my livelihood. Like, there's only a small amount of years you have to do that. And what's been really, really great is the networks that I've worked with have all been understanding and super flexible. And we make it clear that my tennis is first. If I'm playing in a Grand Slam and I'm supposed to, do some work for ESPN at the Australian Open, well, that will come after my playing is done. Like, I'm not doing pre-production meetings while the tournament is going on. Like, I'm a player. And then whenever that comes to an end, now I enter something different now. And they're super flexible. They're super understanding with it. So it never really creates this tug. It's like I'm even when I go to TC out in Santa Monica, I immediately, the first thing I do when I find my dates, I reach out to the UCLA assistant coach, Rickus de Villers, and I go, hey, what's your availability this week? Can we get on court? Can I get you for a couple hours to work on some things? Like, that's the first thing I do. What gym am I going to work out at? Like, I plan all this stuff around, like, this is done first and the broadcast comes in after. So it's like all of my decisions are being made when I go on air, when I, do extra time or whatever. They're all being made with my tennis being my main priority, because I know, like, the better I am in tennis, maybe the better, I can do in broadcasting, the more credibility I have with certain topics. Like, it just sounds better. It's like, oh, it's cool to be able to have Wimbledon quarterfinalists. I'm not gonna lie, like, that one's pretty fire. So literally, if I can do that, 2 or 3 times,
literally my notes. So I'm glad you said it, and I think I know the answer based on what you just said. You were talking about reaching out to Tennis Channel in 2021. I don't know a lot of lead broadcasters that had a career high ranking of 150 or 200. And I have this triple underlined. Did you need that Wimbledon? Like, think through, like, all these little things that go a certain way. He says he's down 4 or 5 match points in Mallorca, right?
Oh, against Lloyd Harris. Yeah.
So let's work backwards. Like, the what if game never ends in sports, and it's endlessly fascinating. That goes sideways. I don't know, like the momentum into Wimbledon, the days between. Did you need that Wimbledon quarterfinal to enter this at the scale that you wanted into this kind of afterlife that you've probably set up for yourself?
Yes. The scale that you're talking about. Yes, because I got to do Good Morning America with Robin Roberts right after Wimbledon. I think this is before my quarter. This is after my 4th round. I got to do GMA with Robin Roberts. I then got to do host Wimbledon. This was funny, actually. My agent, Carter Lynn, he was great. He when I lost at Wimbledon, I lost obviously in the quarters in 5 to Medvedev. And I do my cool down, shower, eat. We're all kind of gathered around. My coach, like everybody, we're all there. And I'm like, all right, guys, I guess I'll start, looking at flights and stuff tomorrow. And Carter looks at me. He goes, tomorrow? You can't leave tomorrow.
No.
I'm like, why not? He's like, dude, you got press to do.
Correct.
Like, what? I was like, I just did press. He goes, no.
No, you are.
You don't understand. And he looked at me and he goes, things are very different for you now. And I was like, what are you, Carter? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, I'm serious. Like, it's different. So then we come the next day. I get to do, I did GMA again, I believe. I did the Today Show. I think I did CNN, and I did maybe somebody else. And I did really well. Robin Robert, we had a great conversation on GMA. They wanted me to come back before the Open. So I got to do it again. So now I'm kind of out of doing ESPN and Tennis Channel.
He was too big. He was too big for us at that point, Mike. We were dumb. How stupid are we? He's like dropping GMA, and we're a dumb little. We're literally we're in my fucking gym right now, Mike.
I mean, I know. It's
our budget is.
I'm embarrassed that we even asked.
I'm so embarrassed. I've never been more embarrassed in a tennis conversation in my entire life.
Oh my God. I got to talk to these people. I got to talk to them. It was just they wanted to ask me about Wimbledon. They wanted to ask me about the US Open, but it was a good like intro into that. And I was like, wow, it's different than sport. It's different than ESPN, but there's some similarities.
Let's do a podcast. Yeah.
He's like, I get hair and makeup, guys.
How do you do it? Zoom?
So that's kind of how. Yes, I do. I will say yes. I needed that to go my way. I needed that Wimbledon run for sure to kind of, branch off into that. I think the tennis stuff I was always kind of set a little bit. And then actually, I believe, I did ESPN for the first time after that Wimbledon run as well. That year's US Open coverage, I won my first round, lost second round, and that was the first time I ever did work with ESPN. So that also came on the backs of Wimbledon. So yeah, for sure.